I always thought family was supposed to mean something: support, love, maybe even a little gratitude. But for me, family became a weight I carried alone. I'm 34, working long hours on construction sites, pouring sweat into the foundations of someone else's dream home, while mine stayed forever out of reach. My dad's been on disability for years after a back injury on the job. My mom, she hasn't worked a day in a decade. Says her anxiety keeps her from holding down anything steady. My younger brother, Mike, dropped out of community college 2 years ago and hasn't lifted a finger since. So it's me. It's always been me. I pay the mortgage, the electric bill, the groceries, the car insurance, the repairs when the furnace breaks down, the roof leaks, or the fridge dies. They call me the rock, the hope of the family, like it's some badge of honor, like I should feel lucky to carry it all. But I don't feel lucky. I feel exhausted. Every day I think about what it would be like to have my own space, my own life, a small house, nothing fancy, just a place where I can close the door and know I'm the only one responsible for what's inside. I dream of having a backyard with a grill, a dog running around, maybe a garden. I think about saving up for a down payment, moving out of this cycle, and finally being able to breathe. But dreams feel distant when every paycheck vanishes before the ink dries. It happened on a Tuesday. After a long day at the site, I came home, ready to take off my boots and collapse on my bed. But when I opened the door, something fell off. My room, my little corner of the world, was stripped bare. My bed, my dresser, even my old nightstand gone. In their place, I saw Mike's stuff scattered everywhere. A pile of clothes, a gaming console, and on the bed, my bed, his girlfriend was sitting, visibly pregnant, scrolling on her phone like she owned the place. I froze in the doorway, the weight of it sinking in. My mom peeked in from the hallway, her voice light, almost cheerful. "Oh, you're home. We had to make some space for them. You know, with the baby coming, you can set up in the garage for now." For now. No one asked, no discussion, just an announcement. My room wasn't mine anymore. It was like I'd been evicted from my own life. I wanted to say something, wanted to scream, to demand why my sacrifices didn't matter, why I was treated like a resource, not a person. But the words caught in my throat, swallowed by years of being the one who handled it all. I nodded once, stiff and silent, and walked out to the garage, stepping over extension cords and old paint cans. Inside, the air was cold, the floor hard, the walls bare. I sat down on an old plastic chair, the kind you take to tailgates, and stared at the concrete floor, feeling the weight of it all settle in. For the first time, I realized I wasn't part of the family. I was just a paycheck. The garage smelled like damp concrete and motor oil. My mattress was an old camping pad. I dug out of the shed, laid flat between 2 storage bins. A single extension cord snaked across the floor, barely enough to keep a lamp running. The cold seeped in at night, sharp, bone deep, making me pull my jacket tighter and wonder if I'd wake up with frost on my breath. The walls were bare studs and insulation, no drywall, no paint, just unfinished wood, like the space itself wasn't meant for living. Meanwhile, inside the house, life carried on like I didn't exist. Mike and his girlfriend, Emily, I think, started painting my old room in soft yellow and gray, the perfect color for the baby. She chirped. My mom showed off fabric swatches for the curtains, and my dad even helped install a new ceiling fan. They laughed, made plans for baby showers, and talked about how exciting it all was. I sat in the garage, listening to their voices filter through the walls. My room wasn't just taken, it had been erased. That's when it hit me. I wasn't family, I was a resource. The guy who paid the bills, fixed the leaks, bought the groceries. They didn't care if I had a bed or a place to sleep. They cared if the lights stayed on and the mortgage got paid. I started to wonder, what if I stopped? What if I walked away, let them figure it out on their own? The thought scared me, but it also lit a spark, one I hadn't felt in years. Maybe it was time to stop being their safety net. Maybe it was time to think about a future without them. It started small. The kitchen faucet started leaking, and I didn't fix it. A week later, the toilet tank kept running, and I didn't bother to check. The cable bill came in late, and I didn't pay it. At first, they didn't notice, or maybe they thought it was just me being busy or tired. But then the little things started piling up. Mike complained the internet was out. He couldn't game with his friends. My mom asked why the water bill hadn't been paid yet, her voice sharp, like I was forgetting my job. My dad muttered about the fridge making a weird noise. I just shrugged. "Not my problem," I said once, and the words tasted new, almost strange, but good. Meanwhile, I started laying the groundwork. I opened a separate bank account, one they didn't know about, moved my direct deposit over. I went online after work and started looking at rental listings, small places in town, nothing fancy but mine. I sorted through my stuff in the garage, boxing up the things I cared about, my tools, some old books, a few clothes that still fit. I canceled the automatic payments on the utility accounts, took my name off the family cell phone plan. Each step felt like a small breath of air in a room I hadn't realized was suffocating me. They started to get annoyed. Mike huffed when I said I couldn't cover the extra groceries this month. Mom gave me a long, disappointed sigh when the gas bill came in overdue. But they didn't ask why. They didn't connect the dots. They'd spent so long seeing me as a function, a background presence keeping the machine running, that they didn't notice when I stopped turning the gears. I was almost ready to leave. It didn't take long for the cracks to show. The washing machine broke down, water pooling across the laundry room floor. The garbage disposal jammed, filling the kitchen with the stink of old food. The heat went out for 2 days in the middle of December, and everyone walked around in coats, grumbling and blaming the electric company. The overdue bills started piling up on the counter, the red letters bold and sharp. Final notice. No one seemed to know what to do. My mom wrung her hands, Dad paced in circles, and Mike tried to make the best of it. One night, I overheard him talking on the phone, bragging about how he could rent out the garage space to one of his buddies for a couple $100 a month. My garage, my mattress still on the floor, my clothes and boxes, and he was making plans to turn it into some kind of side hustle. That was it. I walked into the kitchen where they were all gathered. Voices low and tense. Let me get this straight, I said, my voice cold and steady. I pay the mortgage, the utilities, fix everything that breaks, and now you want to rent out the one place I'm sleeping in. They all turned to me, eyes wide, like they just remembered I existed. Mike shrugged, all smug. Hey, man, you're barely using it. I snapped. I've been paying for everything while you all sit back like I owe it to you. Dad, you haven't worked in years. Mom, you won't even try. Mike, you're a grown man who's never held a steady job, and now you think you can profit off me? The silence after was sharp, like glass cracking. I didn't hold back. I told them about the nights I came home exhausted and still fixed the sink, the roof, the heater, how I paid for every meal they ate, every light bulb they switched on, how I'd given up my own life so they could have theirs. I finished with this. I'm done. I'm not your safety net, not your wallet, not your handyman. Figure it out yourselves. And I walked out, my hand shaking, but my back straight. I called a family meeting, sat them all down in the living room, Dad in his recliner, Mom on the edge of the couch. Mike slouched back like this was just another episode of some reality show. I took a breath, let it out slow. Here's the deal, I said. My voice wasn't loud, but it was firm, cutting through the air like a blade. I'm done paying for everyone. Starting now, there are 3 choices. 1. We split all the bills, utilities, groceries, repairs, everything for ways. Everyone pays their share, no excuses. I watched their faces shift, eyes widening, brows furrowing. 2. You've got 60 days to figure out your own housing. That means finding a job, an apartment, or moving in with someone else. I'm not your landlord, and I'm not your lifeline. I could feel Mike stiffen, his jaw tight. Or 3. I stop paying, walk out that door, and let the bank take this place. You'll be on your own, no lights, no heat, no roof. Your choice. For a long second, no one spoke. My mom opened her mouth, but no words came out. My dad stared at the floor, like if he didn't look at me, none of this would be happening. Mike finally snapped. You can't do this, man. We're family. I stared right at him. Family doesn't mean using me like an ATM. You had a job. You could have helped. You didn't. My mom's voice broke, soft and pleading. But you've always handled it. Sweetheart, you're the strong one. I shook my head. No. I was the quiet one, the one who kept it all together because I thought I had to. But I don't anymore. For the first time in years, I saw it, the fear in their eyes, not because I was angry, but because they realized they had no plan without me. And I felt it, a surge of control, like I'd just taken my life back. This time, they would have to figure it out. And for the first time in a long time, I felt free. I packed up my truck, left the house behind, and moved into a small apartment across town. It wasn't much, but it was mine, quiet, clean, peaceful. I finally had a bed to myself, a fridge stocked just for me, and no one waiting for me to fix their lives. Word got back to me over time. Mike finally took a job at a warehouse. Mom started working part-time at a bakery, and Dad picked up handyman gigs where he could. They weren't living easy, but they were surviving. And that's all I ever wanted for them, to stand on their own, to stop expecting someone else to carry the load. For the first time in years, I didn't feel used. I felt proud, because they were finally learning the hard lesson I'd known all along. I'm not their savior. I'm just a man. And I deserve a life too. I've learned a lot, that being the strong one doesn't mean sacrificing your own life for others, that helping family doesn't mean becoming their crutch, that sometimes the only way to save yourself is to step back and let them figure it out on their own. My life is quieter now, simpler, lighter. I come home to a place that feels like mine, where the bills I pay are for my life, not someone else's. I read books, cook for myself, and sleep in peace. No one's knocking on my door asking for a handout. And you know what? They're surviving, struggling, but surviving. I'm not their bank account or their shoulder to cry on. I'm just a man, one who's tired of being a bridge over everyone else's mess. Sometimes the best choice is to walk away.